Have you ever felt that that persistent pull towards certain habits or desires, even when you kind of know they don't really serve you?
Oh, definitely. That deep longing to properly break free, live with more clarity.
Exactly. It's a feeling I think many of us share.
It really is a truly universal experience, that sense of being, well, maybe held captive by patterns that aren't helpful and wanting a path to genuine liberation.
Which is exactly what we're diving into today. This deep dive is all about the Raft to Freedom program, and it's really insightful workbook.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission really is to unpack this whole framework, look at its origins, understand who it's actually designed for, who might benefit,
Right.
and see how its structured journey guides people, from the grip of those unhelpful patterns towards real freedom.
And we've drawn on quite a bit of source material for this, the main workbook, of course, but also various articles, talks, things that lay out the whole program.
From philosophy to practical steps.
Exactly. From the philosophical underpinnings right through to, the practical applications.
Okay, good. And just a quick note before we really get started on pronunciation. There's a key term, sage. It's pronounced sage, JJ.
Sage, got it.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey. What exactly is the Raft to Freedom program? Where does it start?
Well, at its heart, the Raft to Freedom program offers a structured way through life's difficulties, a way to move beyond those unhelpful cravings and compulsions.
And Raft is an acronym.
It is. It stands for Recognizing, Abandoning, Familiarizing, and Transcending. Raft.
Raft. Okay.
It's a progressive approach, pretty comprehensive, aimed at finding liberation. And the inspiration for it is actually ancient. It's rooted in Gautama's teachings, the Buddha's core teachings. Specifically what are often called his four true realities, or sometimes the four noble truths.
The four true realities. Tell us a bit more about those. What are they?
They're actually remarkably pragmatic, really down to earth. The first is about recognizing the inherent unsatisfactoriness or dis-ease in life.
Dukkha. Not just simple pain then.
No, it's deeper than that. It's that sense that things feel fundamentally off somehow, out of alignment, especially when we cling to things, wanting them to be permanent or perfect when they're not.
Okay. And the second?
The second insight is realizing that a lot of this disease comes from our own stuff, our cravings, our preferences, our aversions. But crucially, these can be abandoned. We're not stuck with them.
That's a hopeful part.
Very. The third brings the real possibility of experiencing for yourself, verifying a true freedom from these compulsions.
You can actually feel that freedom.
Yes. And finally, the fourth lays out a practical path forward. It's about actively engaging in a program like Raft to abandon those harmful compulsions and, minimize unnecessary suffering.
It's fascinating how that ancient wisdom feels so relevant now.
Yeah.
But, the idea of personal commitment, sometimes that can feel like just another pressure, another should.
Right.
How does this idea of saja avoid that? Make it liberating, not just another obligation.
That's a really key distinction. Saja, and remember, that's Jeja. It comes from the Wat Tham Krabak monastery in Thailand. It's more than just a promise or a resolution.
Okay.
It's a profound, embodied personal commitment. A vow, really, to fundamentally reorient your life. It means embracing truthfulness, wholeheartedly abandoning intoxication and other unhelpful patterns.
So taking responsibility.
Fully. Accepting responsibility for your thoughts, words, actions. The real power of saja comes from shifting your mindset. You move from feeling like you're forced to stop something, feeling restricted.
Like being imprisoned by it.
Exactly. To genuinely choosing a new, liberated way of living. It's a positive choice for something different.
I remember reading an anecdote about that. Someone who'd stopped drinking for years but still felt trapped by it.
Mm-hmm.
It was only when they grasped saja as true abandonment, really leaving the past, choosing a new life, that things shifted. It wasn't just not doing something, it was starting something else.
Precisely. That distinction between feeling forced to stop and wholeheartedly wanting to start a new, different life, it's a profound reorientation.
Yeah, it really is.
And that reorientation is why this Raft program is relevant way beyond, the traditional labels like addiction.
Right, it's broader.
Much broader.
Yeah.
It's really for anyone experiencing life's difficulties, anyone grappling with those persistent cravings and compulsions, or just genuinely seeking freedom and liberation from the suffering we cause ourselves.
So finding a way out of patterns that lead to distress.
Exactly. It offers a structured path to develop skills for overall well-being, for a more fulfilling life.
So it's not just for crisis situations, it's for anyone looking to maybe gain some knowledge, find those aha moments, and get practical tools to navigate life a bit more skillfully.
That's it. Tools for the currents of life.
Okay, so now let's get into the how-tos. I'm really curious about the workbook itself. How does it actually guide you step by step, break down this big journey into, manageable actions?
Well, the workbook is very carefully put together. There's a clear, logical flow to the chapters, and they line up directly with the RAFT framework.
RAFT, right.
And each chapter follows a kind of template. You get a general explanation. It links back to the RAFT metaphor. Then there are self-reflections, journaling prompts.
So active engagement.
Very active, plus supporting insights from neuroscience, psychology, philosophy. It's designed to be a really thorough guide.
Okay, let's start with the R then. Recognizing. What's involved in laying that groundwork? That seems pretty fundamental.
It is. The first few chapters, things like surveying the terrain, the dangerous shore, they really set the stage. They acknowledge that life is challenging sometimes, that it can be difficult and disappointing.
Facing reality first.
Yes. And a core part of this recognition phase involves something called the 5 gifts.
Gifts, not rules.
Gifts, yes. They're framed as foundational ethical intentions. Things you cultivate that proactively reduce future harm and kind of clear the path for clarity.
Like what?
Things like harmlessness, trustworthiness, sexual responsibility, truthfulness, and kind speech. And the 5th is about cultivating clarity of mind. Specifically, refraining from intoxicants to the point where you become careless.
So by embracing these gifts, you're building a solid ethical foundation.
Exactly. You establish a base, and from that base, the program then guides you into building the practical moment-to-moment skills you need. This happens on what the workbook calls the island of grounded mindfulness.
Ah, okay. So this is where the real active skill building starts.
Precisely. This whole section is about cultivating core mindfulness skills. So you have mindfulness of breathing, that's foundational. It's an anchor for calm, for clarity.
Just focusing on the breath.
Focusing on the breath, experiencing the whole body with the breath, it calms the mental chatter, calms those formations, and that leads to insight.
Okay. What else?
Then there's mindfulness of posture, using body awareness to build tolerance and curiosity towards discomfort. This helps manage cravings, seeing them just as temporary sensations passing through.
Interesting. Not fighting them, but watching them.
Watching them with awareness. Then, mindfulness with clear comprehension. This develops awareness of your own reactivity. It encourages that crucial pause before you just automatically act on an urge or a difficult emotion.
That pause sounds vital.
It is. It connects directly to modern psychological approaches, like riding the wave of craving in CBT, for example. Creating space.
Right.
And finally, in this section, mindfulness of the reality of the body. This practice helps counter how we sometimes idealize pleasure. It reduces craving by shifting focus away from external validation towards internal well-being, seeing things as they truly are.
Stripping away the filters that often fuel the craving.
Exactly. It's a powerful shift in perspective.
Now, what about Mara's hidden reef? That sounds,
Yeah.
ominous, something you definitely want to spot.
While Mara isn't some external demon, it represents the voice of craving or, those unskillful tendencies within us.
Ah, okay, internal.
Internal. And the practice here uses the acronym MARA again, but differently. Mindful awareness responds appropriately.
MARA. Okay.
The key insight, the profound part, is that by simply naming and observing your cravings, seeing them as something separate from your core self, maybe even saying internally, I see you, Mara, you immediately start to diminish their power.
Just by noticing and naming.
Just by noticing and naming. It's the first step to disarming them. Like recognizing the bars of a cage helps you see the way out.
That makes sense. And then we get to Resolute Island and the 4 resolves. What are those about?
This section introduces the practical side of what's called right effort in Buddhist terms. It's the active part. The 4 resolves are about 1, preventing harmful states from even arising in the first place.
Proactive.
Very. 2, abandoning harmful states that have already arisen, skillfully letting them go. The workbook uses the RAFT metaphor here. Patching leaks, bailing out water, maybe jettisoning harmful cargo.
Getting rid of the unhelpful stuff.
Right. 3 is cultivating positive, skillful qualities. Things like patience, kindness, calm, focus. Actively developing the good stuff.
Nurturing.
Exactly. And 4 is maintaining those positive states once you've cultivated them, sustaining them. This is really where you actively build your resilience.
Prevent, abandon, cultivate, maintain.
Okay. And also in this recognizing phase, the workbook touches briefly on the island of superpowers. Things like noble desire or chanda, that's a wholesome aspiration, quite different from needy craving. And heart's compass, siddha, which points towards intuition and focused awareness, inner resources.
Wow, okay. That really does set a very solid foundation. Let's move to the A in RFT. Abandoning. This sounds like where we tackle the root of the suffering directly.
It is. This stage, represented by the land of cravings and aversions, is core. The program really explains the different types of tanha, or craving.
There are different types.
Yes, traditionally 3. Craving for sensual pleasures, wanting nice sights, sounds, tastes, etc. Craving for existence or becoming, wanting things to continue, wanting to be something. And craving for non-existence or annihilation, that strong desire to just get rid of unpleasant feelings or situations.
Wanting things, wanting to be, wanting not to be.
Okay. And to tackle these, the workbook brings back practical techniques. Things like urge surfing, which you might have touched on, and the sober breathing space.
Sober.
Yeah, it's another acronym. Stop, observe, breathe, expand awareness, respond mindfully. It was developed in mindfulness-based relapse prevention, MBRP.
Okay.
The insight with these tools is that they help you create that crucial space, that gap between feeling an impulse and just automatically reacting to it.
So what does this really mean for you listening? It means getting concrete strategies, ways to interrupt those automatic pilot responses and start making conscious choices instead.
Liberating choice.
Exactly. Conscious, liberating choices. Which brings us nicely to F, familiarizing. Is this about actually getting a taste of that freedom, experiencing it?
Yes, precisely. The elusive island of calm and pleasant moments. That's the metaphor here. This phase is all about experiencing and then becoming familiar with those moments when the mind is genuinely free from the usual afflictions.
Noticing the good moments.
Noticing them, dwelling in them, understanding them. The practice of mindfulness of mind, or siddha, is key here. It allows you to directly recognize states of mind that are free from greed, hatred, delusion.
Seeing the mind clearly.
Seeing it clearly. And this is vital because it gives you experiential proof, real confidence that stopping the suffering is actually possible. You felt it.
That direct experience must be powerful.
It really is. Now, as you navigate towards this familiarity, you'll also encounter what the workbook calls troubled waters. These represent the 5 hindrances.
Hindrances, like obstacles.
Yeah, common mental states that actively block progress towards clarity and freedom. Things like really strong sensual desire, persistent ill will or anger, that heavy feeling of sloth or torpor, mental sluggishness. Also restlessness, worry, and agitated mind. And finally, that paralyzing skeptical doubt. The program teaches you to recognize these hindrances, see them clearly, and navigate them skillfully. Not necessarily fight them head on, but understand them.
Okay, recognize and navigate, not wage war.
Exactly. And then, still in familiarizing, you reach the land of perpetual dawn. This introduces the 7 factors of enlightenment.
Sounds grand.
Chuckles. They're supportive qualities. Think of them as supports that steady your RAFT. Things like contemplative mindfulness and especially collectedness or samadhi. Samadhi provides stability, like having a perfectly still raft on calm water. Mental stability.
Okay, stability and support. And then the final destination, T for transcending, living skillfully. What does that entail?
So this final phase, the land of possibilities, is about embracing the 4th true reality we talked about earlier, that practical path to sustained freedom.
Putting it all into practice long term.
Yes. It introduces the Noble Eightfold Path as the middle way, a way to live that avoids the extremes. Not falling into overindulgence, but also not harsh self-mortification. Finding balance.
The middle way.
And crucially, it highlights wise effort as essential for sustained transformation. This isn't just trying hard, it's skillful effort. And this connects directly to modern neuroscience.
How so?
Well, when you engage in this wise effort, you're actively using your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center, decision-making hub.
Right.
And making that conscious, skillful effort consistently actually strengthens those specific neural pathways. That's neuroplasticity in action. It makes the new, healthier patterns not just possible, but easier and more automatic over time.
You're literally rewiring your brain through practice.
You are. You're building the neurological basis for better self-regulation, for what psychologists might call grit or resilience. And a key practice, emphasized here, really essential for liberation from the past, is forgiveness.
Forgiveness of others or yourself.
Both. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others is presented as an essential practice for letting go and moving forward freely.
That feels huge.
Yeah.
So this really raises an important question, I think. How can you, listening now, start to integrate these principles into daily life to really cultivate that lasting peace, that well-being?
Well, at the end of the day, the RAFT to Freedom program offers a practical, very structured, and deeply mindful way to navigate life's challenges. It gives you the tools.
Tools to understand patterns.
Understand your patterns, yes, make conscious choices, and genuinely move towards liberation from those unhelpful cravings and compulsions that cause so much distress. It really maps out a journey from the turmoil of just reacting all the time to the calm stability of living skillfully with intention over the long haul.
A powerful framework. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. If our brains are, as modern neuroscience suggests, actively constructing our reality based on inputs and predictions, then by consciously choosing which seeds we plant through our intentions, through our wise efforts today, what kind of reality are we actually choosing to cultivate for ourselves tomorrow?
That's definitely something to ponder. What reality are we building moment by moment?
Exactly. Something to think about as you continue your own deep dive into a more mindful and liberated life.